I was born and raised in a 1,000-acre farm in Virginia, and I volunteered as a young man, 17 years old. I lied about my age, to enter the service in World War II. Everybody was going, so I just didn't want to be left behind. So I went into the service, and I went to training in Fort Blanding, Florida, infantry training, and then I went from there to Fort Dix, and then I shipped overseas out of Camp Shanks, New York, and I went to Europe, and I was signed to the 33rd Field Artillery Battalion as an artilleryman. I was a private, okay? And I rose up through the ranks from private to sergeant, and I was ahead of the driver's training program in Europe, and every chance I got for promotion, I grabbed it, and I was very happy with everything that happened to me there. And I left Europe, and I came back to the States, and I went to, I took a test for officers training, and they passed me, and I went to officers school in Kansas. And from there, I went to the airborne school in Fort Benning, Georgia, and in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the 82nd Airborne. And I took heavy drop training because they were anticipating that the Russians were needed for Alaska. So they taught us heavy drop training, and they taught us naturally to protect ourselves, parachutes. And we used to run 25 miles with full field gear in our training. And I guess it's paying off today because I'm still alive, thank God. I taught everyone in the battalion in Germany how to drive all the vehicles, and we used to have to take the A-frames when they got stuck in the mud, and they had to winch themselves out. They learned to do that. And we had a Colonel Wingfield, they call them Wingdings Commanders, and I used to drive him, the colonel, and he had a seat like he rode a horse. He had him put it in a Jeep, and he rode in that seat in a Jeep, and he was a crackerjack. I mean, hell on the wheels. Well, conditions in Europe, I was at the end of the war. I didn't see any combat, and the conditions were, to me, the best that they could be, okay? In Vietnam, in Korea, it was a little different. I came back, and I went to officers training in Fort Riley, Kansas, and I was commissioned second lieutenant, and I went as a forward observer with the artillery to Korea. And the forward observers in Korea were very expendable, and they said if you get picked off going up, replacing the forward observer that got killed, don't worry about it. You'll be all right. So I got the slogan now that I said, don't worry about it, everything. Even when I play cards at times, I tell the guys, don't worry about it. And anyway, I worked with the 2nd Infantry Division in the 38th Field Artillery Battalion, and I was B Battery, and I was a forward observer, second lieutenant. Then I got a field promotion to first lieutenant, and I worked with the Dutch. We had the Dutch, the French, and the Turk battalions attached to us through the UN, and they were assigned by the UN to our division, and we went on patrols with them. And I would call in artillery when we needed it, and I'd call in airstrikes when we needed it. And I was in an ambush when crossing the Wanju River with the Netherlands patrol, and I got frostbite. I slipped on a rock when the machine guns opened up in the hills above us. The Chinese were shooting at us from the top of the mountain, and the patrol hit the ground, and I happened to be crossing the Hongshan River at Wanju, and I slipped on a rock and I went in the water, and I came up, it was 15 below zero, and everything froze on me, okay? The clothes, the weapons, and everything. And I was finally evacuated, and they took me to the rear to thaw me out from frostbite. And I come back, and I went on patrol with the 9th Infantry. It was an all-black regiment, the 9th Infantry. They assigned us to help them. And my forward observers, it's 2 men working with me, we were on top of the hill, and during the night, everyone disappeared. And we had to go out by ourselves. And we got caught in an ambush, and 2 men got shot down, I got hit. And I was taken prisoner with the Chinese, and going up the trail during the night, I was very fortunate to get rid of the Chinaman. And I'm still alive to be here with you guys tonight. Thank God.